Right, guys, so here we are, we inside of the Mercedes-Benz world, and next to me, Colin Brown. Colin, hi.
Hi guys, alright?
First question about your first karting, when it started and where?
Alright, so I was 8 years old, and quite simply one day my father turned up with a go-kart just strapped to the roof of his car, and it kind of started from there really. We just went off to our local kart tracks, doing a few laps, and then went onwards from there really. Joined a kart team. Yeah,
do you remember your first circuit?
I think it was Tilbury.
Tilbury?
Yeah.
That one which is, I think it was closed already that days.
Yeah, that's right. I was there only a few years ago, but yeah, I think it was Tilbury where I had my first races. Yeah, so that's great memories really.
So you've been driving, which kart you've been driving?
What kart at the time?
Yeah, was a cadet, junior?
Yeah, cadet. I can't remember. I think it might have been an all kart with some sort of grease lightning bars up the side of it. No side pods or nose cones in them days, obviously. But yeah, it was.
Your first race was your first championship was in Italy.
I started competing in cadet, the British Championship, obviously from quite a young age. But my first championship that I won, well, I mean, there was many of those kind of in Britain as well. O-Plate Championship, British Championship, so lots of other sort of little junior championships, which was nice, you know, and that kind of kickstarted me to then get an offer to go to race in Italy at 12 years old.
From Motorsport magazine, you say, I was 13 years old and got it. I loved it in Italy, and I thought the whole country was against me. I didn't know what I'd done. So what happened in Italy? Why everyone was against you?
Yeah, it was. Well, I got the offer to go to Italy for the financially supported drive, and then I won the Italian Championship, and the engine was stripped, and my engine tuner at the time was Jenson Button's dad from Rocket Motorsport, and the engine was deemed illegal. Mr. John Button said it wasn't, they said it was, and we was excluded from that race, and then came back and won another race directly after that, the Industrial Trophy, and the same thing happened there. I was then excluded from, banned from racing in Italy for 1 year, which is when I then came back to England and competed in the Formula Yamaha Championship.
After a year, the ban was removed, yeah? So you back to Italy to the Gika class, am I right?
That's right, yeah. Then after I won numerous races in England in the Yamaha series, I then obviously my ban was uplifted, so I moved back to Italy to compete in Gika, the Gika Championship, which was obviously a massively big championship at the time, very, very tough class. And it just kind of started from there, really.
After that, when you started Gika, you've been graduated to ICA.
Yeah, I mean, after winning numerous rounds in the Gika Championship, I then moved into ICA, which is one of the elite championships at the time, especially in Italy, and you know, continue to perform, I guess, you know, some would say. So yeah, we had a successful year there as well.
And 1999 Formula A, but you started racing in 2000. Tell us about that days.
Okay, so 1999 I started my first year in Formula A Championship against, you know, some really sort of tough opposition, and difficult to remember all the results, of course, but you know, we won quite a few races. I finished from 30th on the grid. I finished 9th in the World Championship that year, and won the Industrial Championship a few months later. And then obviously then we come to the year 2000, which was like a fresh year. I had a little bit of experience behind me, obviously, for that, so that would have helped as well. So you're going into the year confident, and that year really everything just sort of came together. We made some adjustments to the engine, like we changed carburetor company, and all of a sudden, the engine become more reliable, and I was able to win quite a few races.
今回のフォーミュラ A クラスで最も注目したいのが F1 マクラーレンチームがサポートするジュニアチーム mbm.com。 未来の F1 ドライバーを育成するために参加。2000年ヨーロッパカート選手権ではドライバーのルイス・ハミルトンが8ヒート中5勝を挙げ見事チャンピオンに輝く。さらに元 F1 ドライバーのケケ・ロズベルグの息子ニコ・ロズベルグもランキング2位を獲得。まさに今回の注目チームだ。
As I know, in Formula A, you've been competing with some of the top drivers who we have now in Formula 1.
Yes.
Yeah. Who was that? Can you say the names?
You've got Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, of course, Robert Kubica, Loic Duval, who races for the LMP1 Le Mans, Audi Le Mans team, Mike Conway, IndyCar racer. I mean, there's maybe 10, 15 drivers just in that final that I won, that are now sort of competing in numerous championships around the world.
From the Motorsport magazine, yeah, I have the Lewis Hamilton saying that 2000 season in Formula A was amazing. It's almost like the Senna-Prost era of karting. There was a wave of really good drivers. It was a good time for karting with good tires, air-cooled engines. It was just authentic. It was one of my favorite year of racing. Listen, these days, Lewis Hamilton and you, are you like, not these days, can you tell me about the racing drivers' relationship during the championship? Are you still friendly, or are you competing even outside of the cars?
No, do you know, it's a good question. On track, like I just take no prisoners on the track. Like I can be really horrible, you know, but that's the way I am. I just take no crap, I guess, off of anyone. But you know, sometimes, I mean, I went on holiday with Lewis a few times when we were kids. Our families would go together. You know, we got on. We had fun. You know, we were most likely just sort of destroying hotels, and that was good fun. But you know, when we went to the tracks, we separated all that, and we just got down to work really. And I was very determined to not be friendly, or to you know, treat no one as a friend the second I went near any kind of racetrack.
And what about your relationships today? Are you still see each other today, or?
Funny enough, I spoke. It was only this morning I spoke to his brother Nicholas, and I had a message from his father Anthony from the weekend saying congratulating me, which was really nice. And but Lewis, obviously these days he's in his own bubble, off doing his thing. So but my impression is that that he's still the same person that I used to go have fun with years ago at the tracks. So I haven't seen him for a while, but you know, good luck to him.
Formula A, yeah.
Yep.
As I understand, that type of racing, it requires a big sponsors.
Yes.
Yeah. And as I know, Lewis Hamilton's been sponsored all the way through with the McLaren. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me how is it psychologically to compete with someone who has a strong sponsor?
Sometimes, well, when we was a one driver team. We were a privateer, and we still, on a regular basis, were beating the teams with 8 to 10 drivers underneath their big lorries. You know, so it gave me even more determination, I would guess, to go out there and kick some ass, I guess you could say, because obviously being the outsider, you just want it probably a little bit more, you know. So yeah, that didn't bother me. I just went in there, you know, and still gave 200%.
Come on, skinny love, just last year. Pour a little soul, we were never here. My,
at Donington Park, yes?
Yes.
And what's happening here? As I understand, this is your first race after long break.
Yeah, I mean it's been 15 years since I've driven here last, or since I've driven a car last. So it's good to be back. And yeah, I felt quite connected to the car on testing on Thursday. And it was weird, like someone joked that it wasn't 15 years, it was more like 15 days that I've been out of a car. So I was happy with that, and I'm happy with my result in the race one, that's for sure.
What type of championship is this one?
This is the last round of the F1000 championship.
F1000?
That's right, yes.
And a little bit tell us about this car. Is that something similar to Formula 1?
I mean, it's a sort of junior version of it, but you know, they're super quick, lots of grip, very quick. It's a 6-speed sequential gearbox, and it's just a super smooth, nice, lovely car to drive, really. So yeah.
And what engine is here?
It's a 1000cc motorbike, Suzuki motorbike engine.
1000cc.
Yeah.
And listen, how is the races today? Because now that you've done already a few races, how is it going today? How is the result?
Yeah, well, we qualified in 4th because I couldn't get a lap together through traffic, unfortunately. But then in the start, I managed to get to 3rd, and then from 4th I went to 3rd, then 3rd I went back to 5th, and then 5th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 3rd, and then into 2nd. So we've come forward to only sort of 1/10 off of the fastest lap, the guy that won it as well. So it took me a while to get back into it, to realise where I am. I'm back in the racing car again, but then it came back to me. Then it was just put the hammer down and off we went, you know.
After 15 years, what you can say about your racing skills? Do you still have all of them, or you lost some of it?
It's funny you say that, because like, over the years, you obviously, you know, it does, your sort of your physical and mental sort of racing brain does progressively fade away, I would say, you know. But I came back into karting this year in April, and I started getting in the kart again. And the first few times in the kart it was really hard. I couldn't do a full day because my body, my neck, my ribs were killing me.
What was it in the karting?
In the karting, yeah.
What was it?
X30 in
X30.
That's right, in the X30 championship. And but then day after day of getting behind the wheel, it just all started to come back to me. And the last few tests I've done, I've been as competitive as the leaders.
I have another part from the Motorsport magazine. Yeah, here says Rosberg. It was very competitive and extremely high level. We had an F1 style approach with an awesome truck and awesome setup. I was the youngest, about 14, and Colin was the one of the first guys to whom I chatted when I got to Italy. He was winning at the time and doing so well. He was talented. When you see these guys on the TV now in F1, yeah, don't you have that feeling that is your place, this is where you should be?
Yeah, for sure. I would love to have been there, but you know, over the years I've just had to, you know, come to terms with it. It's taken a long time. Still not, you know, you're never fully over it. But you know, it's just the way life goes. You know, you know, certain good things have come from me not getting out. You know, the birth of my daughter. You know, so it's just the way life goes. I've just had to deal with it, really.
And because Nico Rosberg said that you was the person number one to whom he chat. What kind of chat was that? Was some racing advices, or it was some just a friendly chat?
Yeah, it would have been some kind of, maybe some sort of racing chat. You know, all sorts of things you chat about when you're that age. Maybe, I don't know, girls. another quite a, you know.
Did you share with each other? Did you share with each other a information like a racing line? Did you share it 100%, or you still keep something for yourself as a secret?
Oh yeah, I never shared anything like to
No?
do with racing technical. The odd little something silly, yeah, but no, it was everything you keep to yourself.
So you keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I wouldn't be talking about, you know, what setup we used or how I would approach anything to do with racing. That's all something I would obviously keep to myself.
Here I have your saying, when I overtook Piccioni on the last lap and we were going down the straight, I thought I would do exactly what Lewis did. So this is you said for the magazine, and then I fully opened the door and gave him no choice but to aim for that gap. As soon as I saw these nose, I shut the door, took the sweepers, and sure enough he fell a few lengths behind. It was the break I needed. So when you're inside the go-kart, your speed is 70-80 miles per hour. How quick you make these decisions? How these decisions comes during the race?
That's a good question. A lot of it for me was, if you're naturally a thinker, a lot of it was kind of just your natural reaction. The occasional time, for example, that it was a little bit misunderstood, that question. Like when I said I did what Lewis did, Piccioni went to make a move on Lewis that failed on the track miserably, and it cost Piccioni 4 or 5 kart lengths. What I did was, in the same situation, was just I saw where Piccioni might go for the same move again on the same track, and I just opened the door to invite him in to make that same move that cost him so much time previously in the race. I opened the door for him, and Piccioni went for the move. He screwed it up. I then got a nice little gap, which then got me to the end of the race, to the checkered flag. So that, I mean, I was very much consistently thinking out on the circuit, not just about going 100% flat out each time. You're thinking about everything that's going on around you. What it takes to finish the race, where people are on the circuit, how many laps are left. How's my car behaving at the time? Is it fully on? Am I sliding here or there? Do I need to watch certain corners for scuffing the tyres? There's so many things, like the carburation. Like, how's it running? Is it rich? Is it lean? There's a million things you're thinking about. But the most important thing is to go over the line in first at the end, not necessarily lead the whole race. So. That's pretty much it, really.
But even if you're a natural thinker, I think you still need a racing experience to do that decisions. Because if you're driving first time or second time, you're not gonna even make this decision because you don't know what's happening.
I think obviously a lot of experience will account for the decisions you make, but sometimes I don't know, there are certain occasions where somebody with a real natural talent for anything can make a slightly better decision than someone without that talent. So
the final race of Formula E 2000, it was the World Cup in Japan.
Yes.
And that race, even today, we have it on the YouTube.
Yes.
Why that race is so famous even today? Can you tell us?
I mean, you got the World Championship that I won and the World Cup, which I was leading until the last lap on YouTube. Why are they still great races? Because that's the perfect example of real karting, in my opinion. Real close racing. Nobody, it's really hard to pull away from the slipstream. For some reason, it seems to be the videos back then. It was hard to pull away, so people were battling more. Whereas now, you tend to get one guy who's a fraction quicker and just drives away. There was no such thing as, the nose cone penalties that you can get that they've got as sort of on the more modern karts. So there was a little bit more rubbing, a little bit more of a fierce battle. And that race there was a race with, as I say, maybe 5 current Formula 1 drivers in that race, and we're all battling it out. And so I think that's what it is. It was a real good example of a karting race.
いよいよシグナルがグリーンに変わるかレース。グリーンに変わった31周決勝レース今スタート。トップに立ったのは127番。127番。さあそして2番手にコーリン・ブラウンだ。ニコロズベルグは4番手。さあそして裏ストレートで早くも、さあその前に3コーナーでも早くも。 120ホセマリア・ロペス、失礼、4番手に落ちましたのは127のバッケルド。ニコ・ロズベルがそのバッケルド、鋭いブレーキングで複合で抜いた。ニコ・ロズベルが4位に上がった。さあトップがハミルトンに変わる。トップがついにルイス・ハミルトン。さあルイス・ハミルトン、ヨーロッパチャンピオン MBM.com。トップグループ、ルイス・ハミルトンからトップを奪ったのは101番コーリン・ブラウン。現在トップは101番コーリン・ブラウン、2番手にはルイス・ハミルトン、3番手に上がってきたのはこれはすごいですね。3番手ロイク・ディバルも復調してきましたね。ロイク・ディバルがまた上がってきています。さあそして4番手には116番のロベルト・ストレイト。さあニコ・ロズベルグはどんどん下がっていきます。現在ニコ・ロズベルグはさあそしてルイス・ハミルトンだ。1コーナーでトップ。ルイス・ハミルトンついに1コーナーでトップ浮上。さあそして1コーナー過ぎ、ロベルト・プクビカ、104番のクピカも止まった。3位目前クピカが止まります。最後の最後はやっぱりこいつが来ました、ルイス・ハミルトン。 MBM.com。さあそして102番シルビオ・ピッツィオーネ、プリビオ・ピッツィオーネにルイス・ハミルトン。今シーズン彗星のごとく現れたこのドライバー、しかし複合、奥の複合でハミルトンかわされた。プリビオ・ピッツィオーネトップ浮上。2番手に101番コーリン・ブラウン。トップカート勢がワンツー。6番手のバッケルド。そしてルイス・ハミルトンがトップに立つ6コーナー。 MBM.com ルイス・ハミルトントップに立ちました。いよいよファイナルラップを迎えます。残り1周、このラップで全てが決まります。このラップで全てが決まる。ハミルトンか、そしてピッツィオーネか。コーリン・ブラウンは遅れた。101番のコーリン・ブラウンは遅れた。さあトップ争いは2台だ。トップ争いは2台。ハミルトンを抑える、ハミルトンを抑える。ピッツィオーネバランスを崩す。そして4コーナーだ。 MBM.com 世界タイトルワールドチャンピオンは取れませんでしたが、さあそのルイス・ハミルトンが何としても最後の最後でこのようやく迷っていた迷路から出口が見えたルイス・ハミルトン。あとコーナーは2つ。複合コーナーでピッツィオーネがブレーキングでレイトさせる。さあテールというノーズになった。そして最終コーナー立ち上がって4台まとまってハミルトンが逆転の今チェッカードフラッグ。ルイス・ハミルトン大逆転のチェッカードフラッグ。
So, if we compare karting that days and karting these days,
yep.
Can we say that today it's a bit advantage of the engines comparing to that days?
That's a difficult question. There's always going to be competition from the engine manufacturers. No, I can't really answer that question. That's a difficult question, that one.
You familiar with the Donington Park circuit?
Yes, I've raced here, as I said, 15 years ago in European Formula 3000, and I did a couple of rounds of the Formula Renault Winter Series here as well, just before then.
And how is the Donington in these cars?
I love it. I mean, any track that's fast and flowing and, you know, with high-speed corners is for me. So it's so much fun to drive. Like on Thursday, I couldn't stop laughing driving around. I was just driving around, changing gears, and just laughing inside my helmet. Just where it was just such a buzz, and a buzz that I've longed for years, that I've missed so much, and it was great to feel that buzz again. You know, there's nothing like it. When the offer came to do this race with Henry at Chiron World Sports Cars, I just thought, you know, I feel like I'm ready in karts, so let's just go for it. And I've hid away for many years through all sorts of problems that I've had, you know, mentally, having been out of the car for so long. But everything just seemed to come together this year. You know, it's almost like I've been given a second chance from you know, if there's a God up there. So it's beautiful. You know, I'm very happy to be here.
Because we're here with this car. Is this your plans for the next year?
Who knows? Like, I mean, 3 weeks ago, I didn't have I didn't know I was going to be standing here. You know, so but it's gone so well, and Henry, the owner of the team, has got a few other cars and a few other ideas, and I would drive this car, you know, every day if I could. It's that much fun to drive. You know, who wants to work where you can get behind the wheel? That's what I was born to do. So I'm praying that next year somebody out there will maybe even give me something even better than this. You know, like maybe some sort of Le Mans drive or something like that. You know, it would break my heart to get behind a real sports car again.
Life after Formula A.
Yeah.
This is when you start the Formula Renault.
Yeah.
It happens here in UK.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that days?
Yeah, I mean, it got off to a great start. We had a very minimal budget for my first year in cars. You know, pre-season testing went well. I got to the top of the timesheets a few times. Qualified 5th and finished 4th in my first round of the Formula Renault Championship at Brands Hatch, getting driver of the day. Second round of the championship, I was first in the pre-season testing there against everyone, and I think I finished 4th again on that second race. It was going good. I was, you know, up there in the championship. A few races later, we ran out of money, and that was it. Championship done. Home for the rest of the year.
And what was your feeling when you first time get inside Formula Renault? What was it? Because it's a completely different equipment. It's not a go-kart anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, it was fantastic. You know, like big open tracks, the speed, of course, just having the gears stick. You know, you feel like a mini Formula 1 driver. So yeah, it was amazing. After
UK Formula Renault, 2002, you went back to Italy.
Yes.
And you've done there Formula Renault as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit about the Italian Formula Renault, your times in Formula Renault.
It was to do with Team Rambo, who sponsored me in karting. You know, they then got their own racing team. They'd never done it before, and they bought a couple of cars from somewhere. And it was just kind of like, you know, the championship in Italy was the highly competitive championship, and I was once again jumping in as a privateer, like first year on their tracks, first year in a car that wasn't up to speed, and it took a while to get going. We had, you know, some good results, but inevitably it's hard to compete against the top teams with a team that, you know, they're in their first year of motor racing. I'm
coming to the end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming to the year 2004, which me personally, I call that year as a year of death, because this is where everything starts to go wrong.
Yes.
Can you tell us what's happened in 2004?
All right, so I think I competed midway through the 2003 championship in Formula 3000. As I said, I was approached by a company that offered me, were promising a Formula 1 contract the year after. You know, so my father and I stopped looking elsewhere because we thought we were sorted. And then for 2 years in succession, this chap had me sort of waiting around, waiting for a drive to come, and he told us that he had the money, and the beginning of the year came and there was no drive, and all we got was, no, something's not gone quite our way this year, but, you know, hold tight, something's coming. And then the next year came and this promised the same thing. And then it didn't happen. So 2 years I spent sort of on the sidelines waiting to get back in a car, and it didn't happen. As you can imagine, like when you've been racing all your life and it's all you've ever known, you know, two people can go one or the either way. And I've become really sort of sick over it, and I then hid away for years. I was unable, like through anxiety, to even go near a racetrack again, because of how badly it affected me. You know, some people, well, I mean, it was, you know, a very sort of bad form of depression, and it played with my head, made me do and think all sorts of horrible things to myself. So, and that was ongoing for many years. Anything from around sort of up to 15 years. It's affected me, but only very recently, over the last year or so, have I been able to get back to myself again, and that was through the birth of my little daughter, who just gave me a second breath of life, really. As soon as she was born, it just done something to me, you know, that I really needed. And ever since that, I've been able to sort of pick myself up slowly, and get back to who I used to be.
So, Colin, now when you back to the motorsport, yeah, you back to the go-kart, you even back to the single-seater, yeah. Can you feel that you're gonna go to the end? And when I'm saying to the end, it doesn't mean Formula One, but it means you want to do your racing career.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't felt like this for, well, since 2003, when I was racing. Just waking up on the Monday, a couple of days ago, after winning sort of my re-debut, I guess you could say, after so many years. I feel like who I used to be, and that's been something I've sorely missed. I think I would love to, you know, continue doing what I love. It's what I was born to do. I seem to be no good at anything else. I'm joking there, but yeah, it's just what I feel like I was naturally love, and I'd hope to still be, you know, in a car next year or something like that. I hope that somebody can maybe see this or read about me and maybe offer a little bit of help. Someone who's passionate about motorsport, wants to get involved, comes to the circuits and get closer to a team, to a driver, to a car, will maybe throw me a lifeline and help me find maybe a budget for next year.
I can definitely help you with my videos.
Fantastic, that's it, good stuff.
Mate, and at the end, advice for the drivers, beginners.
I mean, my advice to young drivers is just go out there and enjoy it, you know. It's really difficult what advice to give other than enjoy it, because, you know, one day it may end, so enjoy it, that moment, because that moment when you are a racing driver, whether you're a cadet racer or single-seater racer, it's an amazing feeling, and the day that you stop becoming that driver, life isn't so fun, so enjoy every moment of it.
Guys, this is it. This is the end of our big story about Colin Brown, his story about go-karting, about his racing career. And Colin, you won today. You won the third race, yes?
The second race.
The second race.
Yeah, the second race of the day.
Can you tell your feelings? What you're feeling?
Yeah, as you can imagine, like, I started in P7, so I didn't expect to really get on the podium, but I was kind of obviously aiming for that. And then we got a good start and we started picking them off one by one, and I had the race kind of under control following the second place, the leader, and I got held up by a back marker on a chicane. We got a slight gap, and I started to really win again, and just as I caught him up, the back marker then got in his way, and I managed to nip past them both, and then it was just a question of just holding on to my lead for a couple of laps, and that was it really. P7 to P1, so.
Mate, my congratulations with this winning. And listen, what do you need in the future to carry on this racing?
Just £20 out your wallet, please. Yeah.
Mate, no problem. Yeah. I can give you right now.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, if anyone's
listen,
out
mate,
there.
I'll be honest with you. I saw today you racing, and I seriously want you carry on, just chill, you know, because I think all of us in this life, in this motorsport. We had the good days, bad days, but you know what is for me is the most exciting, that you came back and you show to everyone that you can do that.
I can't believe it. You know, when I look at where I was a little while ago that not very many people know about, to where I'm sitting right now, it will make for a beautiful story one day when I finally tell all. But it's unbelievable to be 1 minute so low, and then to be, as I say, going over the line in first place. It just goes to show, never give up. Like, never ever give up.
Ah.